Hello everyone, this is Sarah, Painter Creator here, and I hope you're having a lovely day doing whatever you're doing. I don't know about you, but on my feed, since I did that little tiny hens painting, I've been having all sorts of chicken things come at me, and I've seen loads and loads of painted cockerels. So I thought I'd just take a quarter sheet of my A4 Creative Peak paper and my usual Cotman watercolours. Here they go. Really good value, both of those, for everyday painting. Because actually getting the miles under the brush is what counts. And a big and a small mop brush and give it a go. So let's just spritz my paint. I'm going to spritz it, grab my brushes, my paper towel, it's quite well used but I can reuse that, and let's give this one a go. So I'm going to just sketch out roughly a sort of a pear droppy shape for this cockerel, and then you can have let's think of his head sort of somewhere up here, and then his beak somewhere here. He's going to be a bit impressionistic because that's where we're at, and maybe some sort of legs coming somewhere down here, and tail somewhere. So I wet my brush, and I'm just going to take, I think I'm going to take some of this beautiful sort of phthalo blue to start with. Yeah, it's a nice colour, nice and loose. A bit more that richness on. Phthalo is a greeny blue, but it's quite a nice rich, you can use Prussian blue, you could use any blue really with it, and just let your paintbrush dance. I'm going to just add a little bit of ultramarine blue now into there for a little bit of a difference. Trying to keep it loose. Letting those colours and a little bit of indigo now. I've been on an indigo spree, I think. So some lovely blues coming together there. Give it a spritz to keep it all moist and working. That's fine, I'm going to use that later anyway. So let's think of just extending that front chest up a little bit. There we go. Adding a bit more blue into there. I think I'm going to take like a raw sienna or a yellow ochre, raw sienna for me, and just drop that in. Lots of water, and I'm just going to use the water to bring that light colour up. Lift it flat, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of salt. I might give it a splat first. That's just some raw sienna and this blue together. Ooh, I like that. Nice and loose. So a little bit of salt, normal table salt, and I'm just going to give that a little bit of a sprinkle down this front. There we go. And then I'm going to let that dry. Let me just use a bit of a thirsty brush to suck up some of this pool that's coming. So a thirsty brush is just a clean damp brush, most of the water taken out, and it acts a little bit like a straw, and that just lets you pull any excess moisture, and that should help stop that big cauliflower coming. If you leave that excess moisture on your paper, it will run back into the wash and quite often create a big cauliflower. Likewise, if I went in with a wet brush now into this drying wash, it would bring a little bit of a cauliflower into that. But I'm just looking and thinking, oh, I like that, and I like this bit. I like the looseness of it, and I like how the colours are sort of mixing together. So that's a bonus for me. I think there's enough colour on there, and I think that's light enough up here. So time to get the tail feathers going. So while this is drying, I can do most things to it, let it dry naturally. So I'm going to pick up this bright phthalo blue, and I'm just going to be really, really brave and go for this sort of big swishy tail, because to me this is what I want to paint today. Nice and expressive. I'm going to just come in with a little bit of indigo. And obviously this would work really nicely on a larger sheet of paper. I'm just working small because it's nice to work small sometimes with the limitations that I have with my energy. And I'm just going to drop in while this is damp a little bit there, and I'm just going to splat into the, once this is drying, I'm just going to splat some water into there. I'm just going in with some raw sienna for some feet. I forgot this back bit on this one, never mind. Just nice and loose. So clean water, and I'm going to go in with the direction. Again, you don't have to do that, you can do what you want, but I like that feel. And likewise, I've got a big puddle here, so I'm just going to soak that up with my thirsty brush, just so it doesn't have a big run back. But I like that light that's come in there. Pinch a bit off there. So quite often what you do with watercolour is just sort of working with it. the way that I paint is to work with what comes on the paper, and that's, to me, is the joy of watercolour. Not trying to control it too much. So I've just got a little bit of a cadmium red. I'm going to drop a bit onto here. I'm trying to stay still loose, working around. So my main colours have been phthalo blue, raw sienna, indigo, a bit of ultramarine in there, and cadmium red. So, but you could do this any colour you like. It would work. You could just have a lot of fun doing lots of different different hens and chickens. So at the moment I've not dried it off. I'm still hoping that this salt does its thing a bit more. Might or might not. That's what salt's like. Just wondering whether I need to add maybe a wing onto this bit. Just a bit of phthalo blue added into there and a bit of water to blend it in. Yeah, it looks quite beefy, doesn't he? A little bit of indigo, I think, in between there. Another splat. Because they're always moving around, aren't they? Hens and chickens. Another splat. Just control. Nice. We're doing all right there. I quite like this light base here. If you don't want it light, then I suggest that what you do is wait for it to dry and then paint on top. But I'm quite liking that. I'm quite liking this splatty movement bit with it. I think I'm just going to get the corner of my card and just put a little bit of feather texture on. Nice. Just indicating a little bit of something. So I'm going into my little brush now. I'm going to get a little bit of raw umber. For his beak. A bit more raw sienna up here. And just going to darken that beak a little bit with a little bit of Payne's grey. I do like Payne's grey. And I just want his beak to stand out a little bit. So I'm going to wait for this to dry a little bit more, and then I can go back in with a bit more definition. But he's looking quite meaty and butch. I quite like that. Before I do that, I'm just going to get some clean water. I'm just going to run some clean water through here just to enhance those feathers. Bit of indigo, I think, in this bit. Okay, I'm going to let that dry, and I'll see you in a bit. So I've finished this off with a hairdryer. I've just dried it off, and this is the point where I look at it and think, okay, what does it need? So I'm going to go back in with a little bit more of that cadmium red, and just enhance some of this top comb and some of his, I think it's called a waddle or a wattle. So it's sort of gone a little bit dull. I decided to go in with some burnt sienna, burnt umber, a brown on his beak, just to give it a bit more oomph, and a bit of brown for his eyes. They're quite small, are hen's eyes. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of raw sienna, just to sort of do a little bit more definition for his feet. And likewise, we can go in with a little bit of raw sienna just to enhance, like using the side of your brush, just to enhance some of these breast feathers. A little bit of dry brush. But I think he's about there. I quite like him. He's quite cheerful. He's got a bit of a glint in his eye. A bit of fun, just to cheer you up on whatever day you're having. I don't want to fuss because I think the looseness works. So let's just pull the tape away. There we go. And there he is in all his glory. So I hope you have fun doing that. Enjoy a bit of playful creativity. And I'll see you soon. Like and subscribe. And if you're interested, please join the Patreon. I'll drop the link in the comments. That support is really, really helpful to keep me going. And I also have an online shop. And we have a fabulous Facebook group as well, which is Painting with Sarah Johnson. So if you'd like to join that, you're very welcome. So I will see you soon. Have fun and enjoy playing with your brushes. Bye.